welcome back to Baking with Bananas, and today I'm going to show you how to make a perfectly spiced homemade pumpkin bread. It's easy and it totally screams fall, so let's get started. The first step is we're going to whisk together our dry ingredients. So we're going to start off with 2 cups of all-purpose flour and a 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 2 teaspoons of pumpkin spice, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to whisk this together. Next, we're going to set this aside and we're going to mix up our wet ingredients, starting off with 1/4 cup of melted butter, a 2/3 cup of light brown sugar, and we're going to add a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar and a 1/4 cup of buttermilk. You're actually supposed to whisk together the pumpkin puree and the oil and the butter, but I missed that step and added everything almost all to the bowl. So we're just gonna go with what we have. Don't make that mistake. Since I mixed up the order of whisking, that you're supposed to whisk it first when you have the pumpkin, the oil, and the butter, I'm gonna just whisk it now. Next, we're gonna add in a 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree and 2 large eggs lightly beaten, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Next, we're going to add in a 1/4 cup of light olive oil. You could also use vegetable oil or canola oil. And we're just going to whisk this together. At this point, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to add our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients and fold to combine. Now we're going to transfer our batter into our lightly greased and floured loaf pan. If you want to, you can top this with some coarse sugar instead of doing the glaze, but we're going to do the glaze, so we're going to skip this step and put it in our oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 50 minutes to 60 minutes, or until a toothpick insert in the middle comes out clean. Alright, I took the bread out of the oven, so we're going to need to remove it from the pan and let it cool completely on the wire rack. We want to give a shout out to our new subscribers, Rachel and Hannah. Thank you for subscribing. And that's how you make our pumpkin bread. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. First step is you're going to want to grab yourself a medium-sized mixing bowl, and we're going to, this is not medium, that is like dinky. Next we're going to mix in a 1/4 cup of buttermilk. I have a feeling I'm doing this wrong. Since I already messed it up at all, oh my goodness. Okay, leaks on something. And a 1/4 cup of light olive oil. You could also use vegetable oil or canola oil. Okay, that did not come out right. At this point, if you didn't want to do the glaze, at this point, if you want to do sugar, my words. At this point, if you don't want to do the glaze that we're going to do at the end, you could just put some coarse sugar on top, but we're going to do the glaze, so we're not going to leave that. Start. At this point, if you don't want to do the glaze that we're going to do at the end, you could just put some coarse sugar on top and put it in the oven like that. Oh my goodness, too many words. At this point, if you don't want to do the glaze that we're going to do at the end, you could just put some sugar on top, but we're going to do the glaze. So we're going to stick this in the oven at 55. No! You could put some coarse sugar on top if you don't want to do the glaze. So we're going to, I don't know how that flows. It's like, if you wanted to, you could put some coarse sugar on top instead of doing the glaze, but we're just going to do the glaze. So we're going to stick this in our oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 55 minutes to, no, it was so close. We'd like just like break it up or something. If you don't want to do the glaze, you can just put some coarse sugar on top and put it in the oven just at. That's so bad. If you want to, you can put some coarse sugar on top instead of doing the glaze. And we have to split it up. I can't do this.